gonna go ahead and remake this tutorial I made last night. I completely forgot to turn my mic on, so I had a 30-minute total tutorial and I didn't have any sound beside the intro. What I'm going to be covering in this is how to take a picture from Canva, and I'm going to use Inkscape to turn that into an SVG that can be imported to Tinkercad. A lot of people have asked questions on how they can import SVGs from Canva. The actual SVG function from Canva does not work with Tinkercad as a 3D file, but there are ways around that where you can design in Canva still, and you can export and end up in Tinkercad. So I'm going to be designing my picture that I want. I'm going to do a little thing that I saw a couple months ago that I'm going to turn into a keychain, which is kind of going to be like a double tutorial. We're going to go ahead and turn our image into a keychain, or you can turn it into a magnet. I can cover both of them. They're kind of about the same concept. So let me go ahead and create my design. When you're looking for things in Canva to actually use, you want to remember that thin lines aren't going to print as well. The capabilities of a 0.4 nozzle are different, obviously, than a 0.2 nozzle. So if you have a 0.2 nozzle, you can kind of go a little bit thinner, but I tend to stay toward the little bit thicker lines, make printing a little bit easier. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a little go off lines, mountains keychain. We're going to use this one. I'm going to get that centered as much as I can. There we go. I'm going to pick a different font. I like that one, but it's not the best. I also like to try to stick to fonts that people can actually read. There are a lot of fonts that are kind of out there a little bit. Might look a little bit more wonky when you get it on a 3D printer. We're gonna go with this one. Wait 1 second. Here you go, Bubby. I lied. I changed my mind. There we go. Centered, and that's centered. I'm gonna add one more thing to the bottom of it. I feel like that's kind of gonna be a little too thin once we actually get to it. So I'm gonna pick a different one. gonna stay with that one. I love you. One second, sorry. Alright, sorry about that. My son decided to wake up. I'm gonna try keeping it a little bit bigger. This kind of gonna curve, kind of help that. A little bit of a weird design, but I'll take it. I'm going to export my picture. You want a PNG. Size doesn't really matter because you can resize it once you're in there. And then you're going to download it. And what you're going to do is you're going to go on Google and you're going to search Inkscape. And you can go on here and you can go down to your Windows installer package and install that. I already have it installed. I use it quite frequently for this actual thing. And then what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to open your file. And there's my file. Drag and drop and hit OK. And that's going to pop up. If you notice, my sidebar was already open because I was just recently using this morning for the other tutorial. But this is what it's going to look like when you open it. You're going to want to go up here to Path, Trace Bitmap, and then you're going to see a preview. As long as your object is selected, you're going to see a preview. You want your detection mode set to brightness cutoff, and then you kind of adjust your threshold down here to how you want it. You kind of want to make sure all the lines are visible, but they're not too jagged, I guess is the word for it. And then you're going to want to hit apply. And once you hit apply, you can go on your picture and you can drag off just the black part, go in, hit delete, and delete the original picture. And now you just have the SVG version. Then you're going to go up here to File, Save As, and right here it automatically does as a Inkscape SVG, but I always switch it to plain SVG. I really don't know what the difference is, but I've never had any issues with the plain SVG importing to Tinkercad. You can change your file name to whatever you want it. And then also if you're looking for something for like Onshape or AutoCAD or any of those CAD programs, they use DXF files. So you can also save as a DXF file for those kind of programs, which I can cover later because I always use DXF files when I'm working in Onshape. But this one I want to focus on the SVGs specifically for Tinkercad. So then we're going to hit save, and we're going to open up Tinkercad. I already made a blank document, 3D document. I'm going to go up here on the right side where it says import, and I'm going to choose my file. I have mine saved under a folder called DXF because that's what I use most of the time. And then I'm going to click my file name. It shows me my picture in black, and I'm going to hit import. Hi, babies. You want that back? There we go. Alright, now my file is imported into Tinkercad. And if you notice, I got this like one little dot right there that I don't really need. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to drag a negative change my snap grid. Drag that up. And I'm going to place it just so it's touching over that. Before I do that, I'm going to click on my SVG only, and I want to change the quality all the way up to the highest. And then I'm going to duplicate that. It's going to take a second. And then I'm going to combine these two together. And this one, because I'm using a negative, I don't want the bundle group. The bundle group will not get rid of the little piece that I want. I want to use the union group, which is the old style grouping on Tinkercad. And that will take away the extra piece that I do not want. I'm going to move this off to the side for now. And we're going to talk about this one. This one, I'm going to switch to outer line. And this is part of making the actual keychain. And then I am going to change this height to 0.2. And this height is going to be 0.16. And then I'm going to center. I'm going to copy and paste that one, and I want silhouette. These take a second to render, especially when you have the thing up high. So this one I want to change to 0.14. 0.14. Why is it not doing it? 0.14. Enter. And now I'm going to take all those, select them. I'm going to align them. And as you can see, sorry, someone decided to wake up as soon as I started this. And as you can see, your words are going to be raised and everything else is kind of going to be lowered a little bit. I'll give you your good offset. And then this one right here, we have it 0.16. So I'm going to make a cylinder with the highest amount of sides, so that's nice and smooth. And then I'm going to size it to be just a little bit bigger. So that's 0.16. That looks about right. And I'm going to align all of those. That does not look very aligned. There you go. I'm going to manually align this. I don't know why it looks the way it does. That looks better. And now I'm going to union group. That still doesn't look centered. I'm gonna go ahead and delete this one. I want it completely centered. Let's try this again. So for this one, we're just gonna use the original one we had. This design doesn't look right with the other ones. My centering skills are whack. That looks better. A nice little offset there. It'll be really easy to paint by number when you get in Bamboo Studio. Add a little key ring to it. I do not need the tube to be that big, so I'm gonna go 0.7. Play with different numbers until you think you have it where you want it. I'm going to drag this so that it's below the base. That way, when it comes down to it, I can easily paint by number. And I'm going to merge those two together. And then what I'm going to do is, because it's going to be easy to paint by number, I'm going to export it as an STL. Sometimes if you export it twice, it goes faster. There it goes. I'm going to open that in Bamboo Studio. This is a little big for a keychain, about 100 millimeters, about 4 inches, so I'm going to resize it to about 60% for a keychain. I'm going to add my other color, change it to black, and then I'm going to go in, and when I'm doing these keychains or paint by layer and I'm doing the top layer, I always raise this height range all the way up, so that way I only have to do one click to get it painted. And I just go as close to the bottom as I can. And there you got a keychain. It's printable. If you notice before the slice, there's a little bit more lines. So there's two things that you can do. Detect thin wall. And you can go in here to arachne walls. And you can also change, I guess there's 3 things. You can also change your layer height. I never use grids, so I'm going to switch it to adaptive cubic. And then I'm going to slice plate. And notice how those lines look a little bit better on there. You can also size it up a little bit to kind of help correct those, but I think it looks good as is. And then you can go ahead and you can send it to the printer. If you guys have any questions, please post them in the comments below. If you would, go send me a follow on Maker World and Things. I'm almost up to 200 followers on both platforms. I think I'm at 199 almost. Oh, nope, I'm at 200 followers on Maker World. So, on Things, I'm at 187, so I need 13 more followers. If you guys have anything else, put it in the comments below, and I will help you out the best that I can.